Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, November 16th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome one and all. Getting ready for that War Games. Looking for my fifth member, but for now, you know to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And we've got one of those special shows for you today. No episode list, no spotlight. We're just going to talk. We're just going to vibe. And today's show is about, can we make Survivor Series great again? Can it be great again? We're going to talk about the ups, the downs, and the more recent history of it all. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. Survivor Series. It is one of the WWE's original big four pay-per-views alongside the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. And let's get to the first really big issue about Survivor Series. It has not been made to feel important like the other three. And I'll throw in the fourth because WWE now has a big five, and that fifth is Money in the Bank. If you've paid attention over the years, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank have all been made to feel like big events. They just have. And it's clearly been left by the wayside. So how did Survivor Series come about? It came around 1987, and it's been their annual November flagship event right around the week of Thanksgiving. Is their second longest running pay-per-view, right behind WrestleMania. And for a minute, for a while, for a long time, it really felt important. Every year you were looking forward to Survivor Series, and it just felt special, you know what I mean? And we've strayed away from that. So if we look at some of the early beginnings of the Survivor Series, we go back to the one thing that has always stood the test of time, and that would be the classic elimination matches. This has been a tradition, a staple for Survivor Series, and the elimination match has been usually at the forefront, and that has changed over the years, and that's not okay. That's not good. So let's take a look at some classic elimination matches. We've got a plethora of one from just over the years, and we have Team Faye versus Team Blaze from Survivor Series 1995 with Bertha Faye and Alundra Blaze feuding over the Women's Championship. And a lot of times, here's the thing, is that the championship would be thrown in, and it's like, who's going to side with who? And you had that. We had one that really stands apart, that really should have made someone in a true superstar, but we fell back on deaf ears. And that was Team Cena versus the Authority versus Team Authority in the 2014 Survivor Series. And that full match is online. And here's the thing. There was a lot of stakes on the line, and it was about taking the power from the Authority. But here's the kicker, right? John Cena was eliminated early. So Triple H and Stephanie the Authority had put together a team made up of Kane, Luke Harper, Mark Henry, Rusev, and Seth Rollins, while Cena's team was Dolph, Eric Rowan, Ryback, and The Big Show. So what happened? Why did this stand out? Well, it ended up becoming a 1-on-4 situation with Dolph Ziggler taking on the entire Authority. And ladies and gentlemen, he put on a money-making performance. Not only that, he got a little help from the debuting Sting, who turned the tide. The Authority were going to lose, and they pulled the ref out of the match after Dolph had hit a zigzag on Seth, and the Sting debuts helps Dolph Ziggler win the match, and Authority's no more. And you should hear the pop when this match is over. You should hear when that 3 is counted and how over Ziggler was. There were 2 times where I remember Dolph getting a pop this large. First time was when he cashed the Money in the Bank, and this. And they never followed up. And you know why they never followed up? Dolph wasn't supposed to be in the spot. This was supposed to go to Roman Reigns, who was hurt. Roman was hurt. And after Ziggler, they went right back to Roman. And that, ladies and gentlemen, just isn't, well, in the words of Carlito, cool. So you see how important the Survivor Series elimination matches can be. Let's go to 2019. Team SmackDown versus Team Raw versus Team NXT. And this was another match that should have made a star. And if you look back at those teams, it's like, wow, how did this transpire? So we had Team NXT consisted of Damian Priest, Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Ciampa, and Walter. We had SmackDown consisting of Strowman, King Corbin, Ali, Roman, and Shorty G. And Raw consisted of Drew McIntyre, KO, Randy, Ricochet, and Seth. Now, Smart Money should have been on Team Raw, but they got eliminated. And it came down to SmackDown versus Raw, with it being Roman Reigns versus Keith Lee. And ladies and gentlemen, this was amazing. Walter got eliminated early. I mean, early. But we all remember this match because of the face-off between Keith Lee and Roman Reigns. And how beautiful it was, how star-making it was for Keith Lee. And once again, we never followed up. You know how we have gauntlet matches that can make or break a superstar? You know, someone runs the gauntlet. Well, we had that, and again, we never followed up. And probably the most important, most famous elimination match was the Team WWF versus the Alliance, with everything being on the line. That Survivor Series 01 was all about the WWE versus the Alliance. And the Team WWE team consisted of Chris Jericho, Kane, Big Show, Rock, and Taker, with the Alliance team consisted of Booker T, Kurt Angle, RVD, Shane McMahon, and Steve Austin. Why Kurt Angle was on that team? Who knows? It really should have been either Jericho or Big Show on the Alliance team, because they are former WCW superstars, even Taker, but he more so made his name in WWF. But Jericho and Big Show have history in WCW, and this was all or nothing, and it was intense. It was great action. JR and Paul Heyman were great on commentary, and we see how important the elimination matches are, how they can be, and that's what we need. And then you go to the title matches of Survivor Series, and when we put the belts on the line, you know what I mean? Those are the ones that stick out. How about the WWE title matches with Mankind versus The Rock at 98, Big Show and Brock, Random, which was a really good match, Cena and Ryback and Punk in 2012, and so on and so forth. Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels, Del Rio and Punk, a great one, and Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and John Cena. We remember this one for how the match started with Shawn Michaels just giving Triple H a sweet chin music. That's how the match started. 07, Randy and HBK. HBK is up here a lot, and Bret Hart. So the title matches between the men, between the women, are all great. You can build up Survivor Series. You can make it mean something. You can make it feel important. So why the fall off? Why the fall off? Well, I'll tell you, it's really, really plain and simple. The WWE gets lazy with their booking at the end of the year, and things just kind of fall apart. And that sucks. When they put their best foot forward, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. When they show that they care, when they show that they give a damn, it makes more sense. And you can have these war game matches, you can have these elimination matches, you can do all of this stuff, but if you don't make it mean anything, why should we care? Survivor Series is one of your original pay-per-views, and you've just let it fall by the wayside. Now, you've tried for years, these last couple of years, to make it mean something, to make it important. And going back to those classic elimination matches, talking about the fall off and making stars, you had an opportunity to make, in my opinion, 3 major stars, and you failed miserably. Keith Lee, Dolph Ziggler, Shayna Baszler. That's where you failed. What in the context of Dolph, you didn't need to go back to Roman. I understand you wanted to make him your next guy, but sometimes you have to follow the momentum. You have to say, hey, this is where we're at. And you didn't do that with Dolph. Pivot. Shayna Baszler dominated. That NXT year of Survivor Series, they were just great. Shayna, great. And you ultimately failed Keith Lee. Keith Lee came out of that match smelling like money, looking like money, and you did nothing. You know what happened to Keith Lee after that? Lost the world title, NXT Championship, lost the North American title, and then he became the Bearcat. Make that make sense. How does that make sense? You failed in the moment because we had star-making performances, and you failed in the moment. That's not okay. It's not. So how do we bring it back? What can be done? Well, War Games. For the last couple of years, Survivor Series has been using War Games. And they stole this straight from NXT. Well, what do you mean they stole it from NXT? War Games, ladies and gentlemen, when it came back after leaving WCW, was an NXT. What do you mean? War Games came back in 2017, and from 2017 up until 2021, it was an NXT exclusive match. The first War Games featured the Undisputed Era taking on Sanity, taking on the Authors of Pain. This was a triple threat match, and for a minute, it felt good. It felt right. And then we started getting women's War Game matches. And ladies and gentlemen, those women would show up and show out. But then something changed. It was sent over to the main roster. And it's been a main roster match. And NXT had to pivot. NXT pivoted to the Iron Survivor match, which is pretty decent, actually. So now you bring back War Games, but there are times where it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right because you're just throwing in teams. You're throwing in stories. It made sense in AEW because they have a lot of factions, and there's always faction warfare. But then you have this random moment of just people coming together. There might be a women's War Games match this year. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it was thrown together. You know what I mean? And only for the last, I want to say 3 years, has War Games really felt right? In 2022 with the Bloodline versus everybody they were feuding with, right? 2023 when Damage Control were just wrecking everybody, right? And then 2023 as well, the Judgment Day when they were together. And now it feels kind of right this year with the Bloodline reforming, but those fifth members don't feel right. But you've gone out of your way to make War Games the match for Survivor Series. But by doing that, you've neglected something. You've gotten rid of the elimination match. Yeah, you got War Games, but Survivor Series was built on the back of the classic Survivor Series elimination match, and we don't do that anymore. I chide the WWE for giving us 4 and 5 match pay-per-views. This is the one time you can literally do a 4-match pay-per-view and get as many people as you want on the roster. What do you mean? You book in the beginning and the ending of the show with War Game matches, and right there, smack dab in the middle, 2 elimination matches. Done. War Games can't be forced, and you bring back the elimination match. And how do you make the elimination match feel important? I have one of 2 ways, and these are so good. The winning team, either A, whoever is left, will face each other the following night on whatever the respective show is, and the winner of that match becomes the number 1 contender for the World Championship, and you can build that up to Saturday night's main event. Now, what if there is a sole survivor? Well, your sole survivor is now the number 1 contender. So now if you need to do a quick title change, there. Hell, you don't even have to make it for the world title. You could do it for the Intercontinental title, the Women's US title, anything. You can do it with the tag teams. Or you can have the winning team fight for something very, very special. And that is the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble. You can also do that. But if there's a sole survivor, well, guess what the sole survivor gets? The number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble. Now, the elimination match feels good. You want to do a 4 pay-per-view card? That's fine. 2 War Games matches, 2 elimination matches. I like that idea. I like the sound of that. That seems right and beautiful to me. We can make War Games great again. We can make Survivor Series great again. It can be as important as the other big 4 pay-per-views, and we can really, truly, finally have a big 5. I need to see this. I want to see this, and you should want it as well. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I know this was a short, abbreviated show, but I just wanted to talk and just have a conversation and a discussion with you all. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check on the screen what we got coming up. A couple things for the channel, on the program. We're going to start getting into those movie reviews and TV reviews. I'm so sorely behind on those, but we're going to get it going, especially over the Thanksgiving weekend. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, on YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Anna J, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Gigi Dolan, Isla Dawn, and Bailey. Holla at your boy. Peace.